back in the studio once again, and this is Tech Pulse. Sure gives you everything you need to know to survive in the technology world. So, we're talking about next story about the Hi-Real 3D printer that can print using Play-Doh. I mean, imagine this thing, being able to print using Play-Doh, air drying clay, because before, it just used like regular like plastics and things like that. It couldn't use these materials, but now they have adapted this printer to be able to print using clay, using Play-Doh, regular Play-Doh you could buy in the store, or you probably have around your house. I mean, imagine having a printer that you can use materials that you already own, to print stuff. In this case, they're adapting Play-Doh to be able to print. But my point is, imagine being able to use whatever you have. A printer that can use even trash, break it down, and use that to print objects. I mean, this is what this step, because you might be looking at it and saying, well, so what? Big deal. It can use Play-Doh. Yes, but Play-Doh is a common thing that we have around the house. If you have children and stuff like that. So imagine being able, instead of, right now, your printer, you can't use what you have around the house to print. You got to go out and buy ink from the store. You have to buy that type of stuff. So what if you can use regular water? Or what if you can use, a car oil or something, some liquid you already own, and just put it in your printer and it converts it and uses it to print out? What if you could do that? Wouldn't that be of value to you? Well, this 3D printer doesn't just use synthetic polymers like plastics and liquid metals and stuff like that. This thing has been outfitted to use Play-Doh in order to print. Now, let me just give you a little bit, and then we're going to show you the video of this thing using Play-Doh to print. The Hi-Real 3D printer looks like any other single extruder additive printer, but thanks to a fairly unique nozzle called the Hi-Real Emulsifier Extruder, that's what they call it, Hi-Real Emulsifier Extruder, or for short EMO25, you can use it to squirt out usual materials like Play-Doh, like air drying clay. People that are potters, they know about air drying clay. Just regular material you can use, or a self-setting rubber that dries into a solid usable object. They have those like at the hardware stores, Home Depot, stuff like that. You can use just regular items like that. The creator, Daniel Hutchinson, funded his project on Kickstarter and is preparing to ship the printer in the next few months. The printer actually contains a full PC and raised $150,000 on Kickstarter. Now, normally the 3D printers don't contain a PC as well. Normally you have to hook a PC up to it and download the schematics into it. This one actually contains a full PC, so you get a full computer along with the printer, so you get it an all-in-one situation. Now, these materials are important because they can be smoothed down using products like that cell-setting rubber, or like air drying clay or Play-Doh or stuff like that. You could easily, could feasibly print rubber gadgets directly into plastic objects using the dual extruder system. The extruder is also good for schools, and artists who may want to produce, say like stop motion animation figures, those little claymation type stuff using clay or reusable models, because you can squeeze the clay back into the cartridge and squirt it out again. You have a minimum of waste using this type of printer. You can also shave down and move the printed clay in ways that are impossible with traditional plastics. You see, so this is something that is not just good for the home. Being able to use these materials is good because this is stuff that a lot of people have around the house, and people who have children and stuff like that. They have this stuff around the house. Now, these printers start at $2,000 and go up as high as $3,000, which isn't bad considering that it comes sorry considering that it comes with a full-fledged computer attached to it. You see, it's not just the printer, it comes with a computer. So $2,000 to $3,000. The more expensive model includes a heated build platform for ABS plastics, and ABS needs to be heated to stick to the platform. So if you want to get like a full range printer, one that can use plastics and other materials that need to be melted before they can be used, that's what the 3000 model is for. The $2,000 model will use like Play-Doh, clay, it'll use liquid rubber and stuff like that, you know, as well as this built-in PC that can be used to slice and print models of anything, you know, that you create. So let me go ahead and just show you an example of this thing using Play-Doh to print just, you know, an object that they put in here. Because, I mean, this, to me, this is what this thing is all about. You know, I mean, 3D printers haven't really even taken off yet, and already, they haven't even taken off yet, and already we have advancements in it that allows you to use materials that you have around your house, materials that you have sitting up. Many of us have these like Play-Dohs and stuff, especially if you have children. You have these things around the house, and this is an example. This is the high reel printer right here, and we're just going to show you it printing this structure right here that they're printing. This is nothing. This is just an example, obviously, of what can be printed. This is obviously, you may not print this design, but you can print objects. Whatever you can put in there, you can print. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just you print you know, stuff like that, but you can print, you know, objects. You can print any design you put in. This is just a design that they happen to put in, and it's showing you from scratch how it's using Play-Doh to print this thing. You know, this is not any kind of material that you can't find and you're like, well, where do I get this stuff? Something as simple or as cheap as Play-Doh you can use to print. I mean, imagine schools when they have they want to teach their children artwork or, you know, different things like that. The children can make their own models of stuff, you know, putting it in the computer, and the computer can print it out. I mean, this is just, to me, this is just an advancement, you know, and look at how precise it's printing. You know, I mean, it's creating that, not in it's not pushing down too much, it's not mashing it or anything like that. You know, this is just something that to me shows the next level of printing. Shows the next level of printing, because I mean, think about it. Being able to use materials around the house to print, and this thing comes with a full-fledged printer in it as well for $3,000, a full-fledged printer inside. You know, so I mean, to me, that right there shows innovation. That is where that's where technology is going, especially 3D printing technology. You know, now you might look at this and you're saying to yourself, nah, I would never print that. Well, what's the point of that? It's not this necessarily. It's just the point that it can print whatever you put, whatever object you put. The point of this is to show you that you can use, because before, all 3D printers up to this point use various plastics and other polymers and synthetic materials in order to print. This is the first printer that can actually use a substance like Play-Doh or a substance like clay. You know, these ready-to-find products that we can easily find, you know, in hardware stores and stuff like that. This is the first printer that's using something like that to print any kind of object. So, I mean, this is where 3D printing is going. I'm telling you, it's not going to be long before you can just use regular materials around your house. Regular materials around your house. There you go. You see, just use that Play-Doh right there. That's it. High Reel 3D. That's it. They just use regular Play-Doh right there. Nothing big, nothing fancy. Matter of fact, let me just show you this real quick. Right here, these are the various. There's clay, there's plastics, and then there's the Play-Doh version. So you have three: clay, you know, plastics right there in the middle, and the Play-Doh version. So it's showing you that it can use all those different materials in order to create an object. So I mean, I'm telling you, man, 3D printing is an exciting technology, very exciting technology, and I mean, this is a good time to be on board with technology and things like that. With this type of advancements going on, this is definitely a good time to be involved with 3D. Now, speaking of being involved with technology, the Xbox Live Cloud functionality, Microsoft finally has explained what this thing is doing, and we're coming up onto a break, but we're gonna talk about this here a little bit just before the break. That Microsoft, one of the announcements they made with the Xbox One, among the many announcements that people were upset about, this wasn't one they were upset about, but it got overshadowed because of all the negativity with their DRM rules and their trading game rules and the Xbox Connect camera usage and all of that stuff. Xbox got a lot of negative press, and so this feature was really downplayed at E3. Now, according to Video Game 24/7, Microsoft, the Xbox One Cloud technology, according to Microsoft, will make it the best place to play games ever, they're saying. And the reason for that is that they're talking about cloud computing. They're talking about having everything run in the cloud. That's what they're talking. Not everything, but some of the things run in the cloud. We're going to talk more about that when we come back here on Tech Pulse, because I mean, you have to understand that running things in the cloud is good, but there are some drawbacks. But according to Microsoft, this is the next level. This is where computers and gaming is going. So we're gonna see, we're gonna see what Microsoft has up its sleeves if this thing is actually good. But we're gonna see that right after the break, right here on Tech Pulse. So just stay tuned.